I know.
Okay, so do you have any question with the class? Just let me know. Any specific question?
First question on the base numbers. No matter how I put it in, unless that's just the wrong answer.
Are you talking about the test?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. The first one is, I don't know what the answer. It's like 45 to 5.
Yeah,
I think
and it
it's
says,
decimal.
given the value, what is the base numbering system? It would be base 10, correct?
No, let's see. 45.
45 to the 5th power.
That's just decimal. There's no
It's
base.
decimal, right? I put decimal, I put 10, I put, and everything is wrong. Yeah,
As is right, what is the base number system? Yeah, good question. Sorry for that. I'm not the one who developed this one.
right.
Yeah. That's what it's like.
And then it's just trying to figure out how to enter everything.
Yeah, that problem's 19 too.
Yeah, I did too. You know what I ended up doing? I ended
So
up-
here, yes, here's what I get with this one. So basically, that's okay. That's okay, Max. It's okay. Now, so here's the thing. So basically, for here, from what I understanding, is for the one who develops this kind. So basically, for the number system, you can base on whatever you can base on whatever you, right? You can base 2, by 3, by 5, by 4, by 6, by 8, whatever. Right? So think about this one here. If I have, now think about if I have, if I have base 6, if I have the base 6, right? Think about that. Where specific example here. If I have the base 6, so every digit number will be the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? Right? That's the basics. Now, so think about if I have the number, 23 in the basics, so what do you think? When I have the 23 in the basics, how will you convert it into the decimal?
Well, you would go the other way, right? So it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, and 3, and multiply.
What is it?
Now
think about, if you remember about the binary system, right? If you have a binary system, if you have think about if you have 1, 0, and 1 here. In binary system, what's the value of the decimal? And how we do it? You have to break it down the column, right? You have to break it down the column here. So basically, basically for the first column here, you have 2 raised to the power of 0. The second one has 2 raised to the power of 1, and the third one has 2 raised to the power of 2 here, right? So this one is now column number 1, column number 2, and column number 4, right? And so you see, this one you have 1 here, right? This one you have 0 here, and this one you have 4 here, and you add them up together, you have the number 5, right? So now you do the same. If you have the 23 and base 6, you have also we have to break it down into column, right? So we see the first column here, it is a 6 raised to the power of 0. The second column, you have 6 raised to the power of 1. And the third one, you have the 6 raised to the power of 2, and so on here, right? So for this one, you have 1, and you have 6, and you have the 36 here, and so on, right? So basically, you have the 23, you add them, you have number 3 here, column number 1, that you have the 3. And number 2 here, column number 6, you have the 12 here, and you add them together, you have the 15 in the decimal, right? Makes sense. So I believe this one he want to ask that actually you have to put the 5 under the 45 here. So it should be better 55.
So it's 45 base 5.
Yeah. So you see the digit here and everything. No, it cannot, right?
No, because he does it.
Yeah, no. Even that, if the base 5, you only have the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 only. You cannot have 5 here.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying is and he has base numbers in there. So
Yeah.
the assumption is because he doesn't put a base, wouldn't it just be the normal base 10 that we use?
Okay. Anyways, I think that is a bonus point and give you 2 for us, everyone. Yeah, I have to correct it. Sorry. Okay, that's a very good question. Now, you have any other question? Let me know. Any one of you have any other question? Let me know.
I also had an issue with question 19 on the same test.
Then number 19. What is it?
It says it's using the octal system, but it says expanded. So I did it on paper. I don't know how to answer that in the correct moment. It only takes the.
If the value 133 is converted in decimal, what's it look like? Expanded.
So it wants you to convert it into decimal value, but don't.
No. This one. No. See, if you have the number 133 in the H, right? 133. Sorry, 135.
Yeah.
In H here.
In base 8, yeah.
Alright. So if you have 135 in base 8 here, right? So basically, easy. You do exactly the same. You break it down the column value, right? Yeah, column value here. So you have the base 8, right? So that's why the first column is the H raised to power 0. The second one H raised to power 1, and the third one you have H raised to power 2, and so on, right? So for this one, you have 1, you have 8 here, and have 64, and they ask you how you expand it, right? So basically, this one 64, right? So we have 1 times 64 now, and you add what? You have 3 times 8, and you have 5 times 1. I think that's all. That's all.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
And
all.
you just have to make sure that you put spaces in between the.
Okay. Anyway, whatever I did, I will manually correct this.
I just switched the order.
Yeah. So order. So it doesn't matter. I have to manually correct it because he cannot anticipate all of the options you put here. Okay, so any other question? Let me know. Any other question? Any other one? This one. Okay. Now let me go back with some of the Raptor program. In the last class, I am not able to open. Right? Some of the program is that one. What is it? Okay, so if you look on the program and if you look on the requirement, right? To get the maximum point, you have to use the echoing input in the output here, right? So I already mentioned how to use the echoing input in the output already, but I don't know for what reason some of you still not included in your program. Right? So see if you run this program here. If we run this program and the number 15 here, right? And it bring down number multiplied by 10 is the 150. It is correct output, right? But the thing is, I require you have to include the echoing input into the output, right? So basically, what I expect here, you have to change the number here with the number 15. Is what you got it from the input here, right? So how we do it? You just modify program to include the variable name. No, you cannot find it. But I put it in the slide already, right? And already I explained it in the class already, right? So I expect that you understand the process of the echoing input here. Let me show you again. What you do with the echo input here in the slide number 2, right? That's a step to make your program more meaningful to the end. Yeah, That's what he said. You have the prompt, the message display on the monitor to ask you a response. You input command line, and you have the echoing input. That's what I mentioned in the class already, right? That repeating the input back to user is the subsequent prompt or in the output here, right? So see, if you look on this program here, if you look on this program in my program here, if you look on the program, right? I get the length, I get the width from the rectangle. I figure out what's error here. You see, I do the echoing input. That's the process here. I get the length. I put it one part. Sorry, I put it at a part of the output. And I get the length. Sorry, I get the width also. I put it into the part of the output here. So it makes more sense for the end user to see what is it, right? So see, if you run this program here, right? So what happened here? I enter the number 15 here, and I put the number 10 here. So the output here, it makes more sense for the end user, right? So we see what happened here. It takes the number 15 from the value I store in the length variable, right? And it takes the number 10, store in the variable width here. You see, 15 store in the length and 10 here store in the width. Right? So if you do not use echoing input, let's see. Let me delete it here. Okay. Let me edit here. The area, the rectangle is here. It's okay. It's okay with this one. The output is 15 here, right? And the 10 here. It gives you the correct output. It gives you the correct output. But you see, when you compare the first one and the second one, the first one actually makes more sense to the end user, right? You know that the area with the length of 15 and the width of 10 is a 150. Right? That's the process of the echoing input, and you bring it in the output here in order to make the user a more meaningful output here. Makes sense? Any other question from you guys? Okay. Now I have another one. Where? Okay, so for this one also, you do not use the echoing input here. That's what I mentioned. Now what's the number 3? Okay, this one also. You have some problem with this program. The first thing is that you do not use the echoing input. The second one is that you see the output here is only 3 now. That's the number of it. It not really makes sense to the end user, right? See, if you can think about if you are a user, you expect something more clearly, right? Something is clear with the output here. See, if I enter the number 15 here. It's a print now, so 150. Not really makes sense to the end user. That's what I mentioned in the class many times. Right? Whenever you run the program, you have to think you are the end user, and you expect something more very, very meaningful and very clear to you, right? So that's something you please try to focus, and you have to correct this in the upcoming assignment. Otherwise, you cannot get the maximum score. Okay, this again, I don't know. Since this time you still make a mistake with this one here, right? You get the number, you time with the number 10. What happened with this program? What's wrong with this program? Yeah, no output, right? I mentioned it already. You got the input, you figure out the calculation here. So basically, what happened with the program here? So you get the input and you store it in the variable name N1 here. Think about it, the number 15, right? And now you find it out. What is the Y? Y here, it's N. Take it out. 15 times 10. You store number 150 here. The last step, you have to access into the memory slot and you have to print it out. If you are the user, you expect something printed out on the screen here. So see for this one here, when you run this program, here, you see you have the 15 here. You have no output in the program, right? You have no output in the program. So this one is missing both of the echoing input and you miss all the output of them. Let's see. Okay, Malcolm, are you here, right? So I don't know for what reason I cannot open your program. So if possible, can you share the screen? Can you share the screen with the Raptor program and to see how we run it here? I'm not able to run your program. Let me show you here. Let me show you. No, not this one. Save it. Yeah, I don't know why it's keep asking me to change it to the object oriented here. And when I run it, so Malcolm, are you here? Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm setting it up.
Okay, so can you share the screen to see what happened with the program? I'm not able to run it yet. Can you share the screen?
Yeah, when I set it up, I will have to open it on the VM.
Okay, so let me know when it's ready. Okay, so let me review a lot about the last class here, right? So we go into great detail about the numbering system and how you store the number in your computer. You have the unsigned integer number, you have the sign magnitude, you have one complement, you have the two complement, right? And so we learned something about the understanding structure. So basically, in every program you have the three basic structure. It is a sequence, it is a selection, and you have a loop, right? So for every program, it is a combination of the three structure. Either you sequence or selection on the loop, and you combine them together. You learn something about the process of the sequence, the selection, the loop on top. And for every program is a combination of all of the three structures. Okay, and also you learn about process of using the primary input to structure program. So think about the primary input is the same with what you do with the housekeeping, right? That is the process. You have to read the first input data record, and it is outside the loop and before the loop, right? It have you. The program is more structured here. So you see, that is the process here, right? So you see, that is a process when you work with structure program. You got the input, the original number. That is the primary input before and outside the loop, and it is for the first number only, right? But later on, if you want to repeat the process, you need to get the number again. And you have the condition here to check if the number equals 0 or not. Okay, so I think the one thing I want to show you when you work with the Raptor is that how we work with the random number and how we work with the floor and the ceiling function in the Raptor here. So what's the random function in the Raptor? The random function is use random to generate a random number in the range from 0 to 1, but not include number 1. Right? So it generates the range from 0 to 1. So we can think about it can be 0.112 or 0.99 and 8, whatever it is. So whatever it is, in the range everything from 0 to 1, but not include number 1. Right? Not include the number 1 here. Okay, that's the first thing you have. You have to understand the process. Sorry.
Number 0 or no?
Yes, include the number 0, not include the number 1. Now, let me show you how we can work with the interrupter here. So let me see. This one I have to do one. So it would be better I do the loop. I want to print it for 10 times to see. So I want to do it for 10 times. So I have to maintain the counter. Put it 0 in the game. For now, you do not have to understand the process here. So I just keep doing it. When the count for to think about 20 times. And for each of the iteration, I just want to generate. I just want to print it out. What is random, right? Random. Sorry, capital K. And now I need a process to increase the counter, otherwise stay at 0 and it will be 11. Okay, so see, it generates the 20. It generates the 20 random number here, right? You see, everything is range from 0 to 1, but not include the number 1. That's the first thing you have to understand when you work the random number interrupter here. It always generates the random number in the range from 0 to 1, not include number 1. Include number 0, but not include number 1. Okay, so now my question is that what happens if I want to generate the random number in the range from 0, not from 0 to 1, but from 0 to 100? How can I do it? What do you say? How can I do it? If I want to generate random number from 0 to 100, not include the 100. How can I do it?
Just change it from 0 to 1 to 0 to 100, right?
No, you see, it's a random function here. If you look on the random, if you look in the random function, whereby program. Yeah, the random function, it have no parameter, right? It have no parameter. Or in the interrupter, it have no parameter. I know it's different with the Python here, but yeah, I want to mention in interrupter. So basically, in the random function in interrupter, you have no parameter. That's why it only generates integer from 0 to 100, not including. So now, if I want to generate the random number from 0 to 100, but not include 100, how can I do it? You time it to 100, right? So every time you generate a number, you time it to 100. Now see what happened here. I modify program here, right? I modify program here. You time it to 100. That's all. Now see, I run it again. Now see, now, right? Okay, that's the process. That's the process you generate random. So again, if you want to generate random number 1000, you time it to 1000, and so on here. Or you just want to generate the random number iterate from 0 to 20, you time it to 20. Right? Okay, makes sense? Okay, that's the first process, right? So now see, if I want to generate the random number from 0 to 20, and not include the 20, I just put the number. So we see, it run everything from number 0 until up to the 20, but not include the 20. All right? So
if you want to include the 20, you just go to 21.
yes, you can do that. Okay, okay, that's a correct. Now, that's the first process. Now think about if I want to work with the random but integer number. I do not want anything with the decimal here, with the fractional part here, right? So I have to round it up, right? I have to round it up, right? So in the raptor, you have the two functions to round it up. It's the first one is the first one it is the first one it is the first one it is what is it? A floor function, right? The first one is the floor function. Floor function, that means you round it down. You round it down. And the second one, you can have the ceiling function here. You round it up. Right? So think about if you have the number you have the 15.75. And when you use the floor here, use the floor, you round it down, it goes to the 15. Right? But if you use the ceiling here, you have the ceiling, you have number 16 here. Right? Make sense? Okay. Now, what happened here? The thing about if I have the number negative 15.2 here. So what do you think? What's the floor function of the negative 15.2? If I use the floor here, what's the output?
Negative 16.
Yeah, you have to round it down, right? You have to round it down. So basically, you have the negative 16 for this one, not negative 15. And if you use the ceiling, it's negative 15. Okay, so that's the process, right? So now think about this one here. I want to generate the random integer number from 0 to 100 here, and you're right. I had to count it to 101, right? It includes the number 100, right? And now before that, I use the function. From. So now I run it here. See, now everything in the round number, right? It's everything in the integer number here. Okay, so that is the way you work with the random function and ceiling function and floor function in the raptor. Sometimes in some of the game is require you to generate the random number, right? And you have to use the process here. You have to use the process at random and the floor here. Now, what happened here? Let me show you. What happened if you want to generate the random number from the 10? Sorry, the random integer number from the 10 to 20. Then how we do it in the raptor? What do you think? How we do it in the raptor? Now tell me how you do it.
Would you like multiply it by 10, then add 10?
Yes, that's something. It's almost close. It's almost close.
Or multiply by 11, then add 10?
Yeah, right.
Right.
You have to multiply by 11. The thing is that if you see from the 10 to 20, you have the 11 number, not 10 number, right? So basically, you see. So for this one, you have in order to do that. What is it? No, sorry. So in order to do that, you have to time with the 11 here, right? You have 11 number from the 10 to 20. Actually, you have the 11 number, not 10, right? Makes sense? Okay, and it's starting from 10. That's why you have to add number 10. That's all. Instead of starting with 0, now you add the number 10. It's starting from the number 10. Right? So see, you can modify program here. You can see what happens with this program. See, so I have it here, time it to 11 here. So see, if you have a floor and random time 11, it will generate random integer number from 0 to 10. Right? 0 to 10. Now, if you want to go to the 10 to 20, you just add it to the number 10. Right? So you add it to number 10 for this one. And run it here. See, you have everything iterating. Iterating from the 11 to the number 20 or so. Make sense? And of course, you can do with any range. You can do with any range. So what happens if I want to generate the random number, integer number from negative 5 to number 10? So how I modify my program? What do you think? How I modify my program?
-6 plus 10.
No?
Negative 6 plus 15.
Sorry, say again.
Is it negative 6 plus times negative 6 plus 15
No.
plus 16?
Now you have the two process here.
Is it
Yes.
or maybe times 16 times 16 minus 5.
Yes, that's all. You have the two process here. The first thing you have to find out how many number. Now, if you have the -5 to 10, how many number? 16, right? You have 16. Right? That's why you have 16. That's why you have to do the 16 here. Now, what's the starting number? -5. Right? You know that normally it's starting from 0. But now, if you want starting from -5, you set -5. That's all. So basically, in order to do that, you have two processes here. How many number and what is starting point? That's all. Right? Make sense? Okay. So I think that in the home in the assignment, sometimes you have the assignment that you work with the random number here. So I hope you understand the logic of the random number when you work with random. So Malcolm, are you ready with your screen share? Hello, Malcolm. Okay, so now I think that's all I need to cover with the lecture. Now, as usual, I work with the zero code here. So can you please go to the module and download the zero code? You download the you download the debugging exercise. You go to the module. You go to the number 3. You go to the number 3, and you download debugging exercise. Download it and open it so we can ready to do with the homework here. Now, I give you a couple of minutes to download it and open it. Okay, so when we work with the debugging exercise, right? So number 1 here. Now, again, let me tell you again how to work with the debugging exercise, right? So basically, for the debugging exercise, you have the 4 assignment, right? You have the 4, right? So basically, from the number 1 to number 3, you have to work with the zero code, and number 4, you are supposed to work with the flowchart. Of course, you can convert it to zero code, whatever it is. You are not required to work with a real programming language or other. It's not required. You just need to correct the error in the zero code, in the text here, or in the flowchart. That's all. That's the first thing I have to keep in mind, how to work with the zero code and the flowchart here. You just need to correct the word only. So again, as usual, at the starting point, you have to read at the header command here. This zero code is intended to determine whether the student has a pass or fail a course. Student need to average 60 or more on the 2 tests here. So basically, you see, it works again with multiple students, right? Student number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. So for every student, you need to get the 2 input, right? The test number 1 and test number 2. You add them up together. You find out what is the average, right? And from the average, you check if the average is greater than 60, it passed. If not, you have failed here. So that is the process of this one here. Now, again, in order to work with the pseudocode or debug exercise, you have understanding about the main logic. It's not very simple. You have to get the primary input or the housekeeping. You have the variable to check the condition of the loop, and at the end of this loop, you have to process to get a new variable here in order to control the loop, right? So now, if you look on this program, what's wrong with this program here? What's wrong with this program? Now tell me.
There's no loop.
What's wrong with this program?
It doesn't ask for the name at the end of the loop again.
Sorry, yeah. Now, if you read it from the first to the from the beginning to the end, what is the first error?
Passing.
The housekeeping.
Why passing is not correct?
Because it just says passing equals 16, not greater than or equal to.
No, I think that's correct. Passing is equal 60 here. So later on you check here. If it's greater than or equal 60, you pass. Now, okay. Now what's the first error? Yes.
Output name is inside the loop instead of outside as a housekeeping per score. Sorry.
Yes. So think here now. Let's translate it, right? So see, you declare the variable, right? Now you go with the loop here. Why first stat here? You see, you have syntax error here. Why? Why has syntax error? You have not defined it here, right? You have not assigned any value with it, right? So see, if this program here, when you translate the program here, it checks the condition here. You see, when you run it here, it checks the condition. Now, where is the first stat? Nowhere. What's the value of the first stat? Nowhere. Right? No value here. That's why you have the syntax error. And you are right. So basically, for this one, you have to work with the housekeeping and you work the prime input. Right? So the process of this one is that you at the beginning you need to get the first stat of the first student. You bring it out of the loop, right? You bring it out before and outside the loop. That's the first stat of the first student only. Make sense? Now, see, think about this one here. When you got the first stat here, now we can check the condition, right? So suppose he enters the 70 here. So what happened here? If he enters the 70, it's not equal to 0. You keep doing it, right? So now you got the second one. You find it out what's the average here, right? Now, so when you have the average, you print it out average. Now, from when you have the average, you have to check the condition. If average greater than passing, what is it? 60 pass. If not, fail. Huh? What else? What is the other? What else? Yes.
You need to input the first test score again at the bottom so it can loop again if it is greater.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to go with to another student, right? If you want to do it for another student here, you have to keep and you have to get it here, right? So that is process of the mainline logic here. You have the housekeeping or prime input before the loop. You have the condition here to check the condition of the loop. If true, keep doing it, right? And inside the body of the loop, you have the action to change the variable of the one who controls the loop here. Otherwise, it will be indefinite loop. Right? Makes sense. Okay. Now I can show it here. You can see it right if you run it in the Python here. Think about this one. I do not have to try. I still think I have a passing here. 60. And you have the Y. That's number 1. That's 101. I plus that. Y plus that. Not equal to 0. Keep doing it. So you do not have to understand how to work with the Python. I just want to show you how it's wrong with this program. Right? So again. if average greater than or equal passing. Okay, so we see, I translated exactly the same from the single code here, right? I translated exactly the same single code here. So in the Python, I do not have to define for the variable first, so I do not do. But you see, this one is a constant. I put the passing here, right? I go to the loop, I enter the first one or the second one, find out average, print out average, and check pass of here. So what happened here? What has happened with the program when I run it here? See. Right, clearly with this one. Why I have to say it. I got it. Yeah, see, you have the immediately you have the syntax error, right? Because you see, first stat is not defined here. Right? The thing is that you have not get the value for the first stat. That's why you got the problem with this one. Make sense? Right? Okay. So basically for this one here, you see, if you work with the mainline logic again in the model 2, where see, you have the mainline logic in the main model 2 here. Yeah, you see, that is one here, right? You see, again, in the mainline logic, you have understand the process here. You always have the housekeeping. What is housekeeping? Housekeeping is the process you get the name of the first employee. And only when you got the name of first employee, you are able to check the condition of the one who controls the loop here. If you do not get the name, you have no way to check this one here. Again, and see, in body of the loop here, when you figure out everything, you have the step to change the value of the variable who controls the loop. So see, in order to correct this program here, I need to get the prime input or housekeeping before and outside the loop, right? So that's why I have to modify it here. I have to modify this program. So instead of that, I have to copy it and bring it outside. That is housekeeping or that is prime input. So what is it? That is action to get ready for the loop, right? So see, after we got the first stat here, you go to the loop, and the loop have the condition to check if the first stat equal to 0 or not. Right? So now, when I run it here, what happens? When I run this program here, what happened here? So think about, I run it again. I have the 70 here. I have 80. What happened? I have pass here. Now see, again, it go back to the loop and enter the second one here. Why not first one? Because you have nothing in the first one here, right? So see, if you want to move to the next student, you need to get the first stat of the next student here, right? It's need the first stat of the next student here. Otherwise, it keep doing it for the second stat again and again and again, indefinitely, right? So again, that's the process of the mainline logic. You see, the process of the mainline logic here. To translate it, you just understand the something about the mainline logic here. Now, the first thing is that you need to get the prime input before and outside the loop. That's the first thing. Before and outside the loop. And if you look on this one, if you look on the process here, you have the housekeeping, or you can understand it is the prime input here, right? Housekeeping, what's it? You need to get input here. So why do you need it? Because when you go to the loop, you have to check its name equal to quit or not, right? So if you do not get it before the loop, you got the syntax error. That's the first thing. Now, when you go to the loop here, you do everything with every single employee. You see, at the end of every single employee, you need to get the new name of the new employee here, right? Otherwise, it is indefinitely. So basically, you have the process. You get the prime input before the loop, right? You check the condition of the loop, and inside the body of the loop, you need to have the action to change the variable of the one who controls the loop. And you see, name here is the variable who controls how to terminate the loop, right? Okay, so if you do not change it, it always stays the same and never ever terminates the loop. Make sense? Okay. So that is the first one. That's the first one. And in like that, you have to correct it in the pseudocode. And in order to correct it in pseudocode, right? So yeah. Right. So we have to modify this program. You have to copy this one, you bring it before the loop, right? And at the end also, you have to put it here in order to get the score of the next student.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is this just written without modularization?
No. No, this one is not more.
That's what I was.
Yes, that's not. Yeah.
So if you wanted to, then that's when you.
No, it doesn't matter.
Well, I know it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Because it's very simple program. Right? So we do not have to do that.
Isn't that a quick question? Isn't that thing missing is the while loop, isn't that one missing an else statement too? It should say else and while, stop.
Sorry, say again.
Yeah, it's the while first test is not equal to 0. Should there also be an else statement for the end while?
I do not get the question. What is the question? Why first step not equal to 0?
Like, shouldn't there be an else statement somewhere after that? Because while first test is the loop and the else.
No, the thing here, right? I think this also is not really now think about this one here. Now if you go to my program here, right? If you go to my program here, I modify. So should be better I do it here. Should be better I make it more. And the first step of the next thing. Right? So see if I run program. If I run my program here. This one. Right, so see when I run it here. Whatever it is, I enter the number 70, 90. That's the first student, right? Now I enter the first set of next student. So it is here. Remember we have to enter the here. So enter the first step of next student, enter 0 to exit. So what happened here? What happened if I enter 0? What do you think? What happened if I enter 0? See, where am I? Yeah, what happened here? So see, after the step, right? After the step here, I already got the 70 here for the first step of the first student only. Right? Now I got the second one here is 90. I figured out average here 80. I checked 80 greater than 60. That's why I passed it. Now when I run to this one, I got the first step again. Right? I got the first step again. I enter 0 here. Now see, when you end with the loop, you go back to the beginning of the loop, right? You check the condition here, right? You go back, check the condition. Now I enter the number 0. That's why the first step now equals 0. That's why this one is not true, right? Now that it equals 0, not equal 0, right? That's why it's that ends the program.
You know, that's what I was saying. Is the 0 makes the while like false. Shouldn't it say else end the program after that? Shouldn't there be like an else statement that points to ending the program because it equals to 0?
Why do we need else here?
Here, I can show you. See how I have like the while loop? So let's say it's equal to 0. Shouldn't the else here for it to end the program? I'm kind of confused on how you terminate. You know, I have that else.
No. Why never go with the else?
Okay.
No. Why and why only? Else only will work with if only.
Oh,
Okay. Why not go with the else here? Right. So that's why you see. Yes. So we see in the logic here. You see, you have y for in the Python you do not have and y. In the Python is that y here, right? But you see y never end with else here. Never. Else here only when you have if, else, if, else. That's why I see if and else here, right?
Okay.
If and else here, but not never else in the paragraph. And you see in the zero code here. If you see in the zero code here, right? If you see in the zero code, you see you have y and y, huh? And have if, else, and if. That's all, right? So see, when you get the number 0 here, everything it execute everything in the order from the first statement to the last statement, right? And when you go to the last statement, you go back. Now, if you enter 0, this one is equal 0. That's why you terminate the program, right? Okay. Okay, so for this program, yes, the first thing can you open the second one? Can you tell me what is the purpose of this program here? What is the purpose of this program? Display employee net pay value, right? So all of them have standard of the 45 deduction. Check if employee not earn enough to cover deduction, error will be displayed. Right? So think about this. So in order to do that, you need to get the gross, right? I think, yeah, you need to get gross, right? So think about if someone with a and gross of, if someone gross of 100 here, you have to deduct 45 from him, and he have the 55 left, right? So now when you got the net income here, you have to check if he's greater than 0 or not, right? If greater than 0, of course it's okay. But not, you have to print it out here. Deduction is not covered, and you change it to 0. I think about if he only make for the 30 here, you minus 45, and you have the negative 15. It's not able to cover it, right? So you change this one to 0. Right? That is for this one. Right? Deduction is not covered. Okay, make sense? Now the first thing you have to understand the purpose of this program, right? And it do it again and again and again for many for multiple employees here, right? Again, now if you break it down in the mainline logic, what is the prime input here? What is the prime input for this program? Yes, right. You see here the name here, right? Now, but what's wrong with this program? What's wrong with this program here? What's wrong with this program? Yes. Yeah, what was it?
I was gonna say a deduction should be number, right, instead of string, because they do an operation in the computer.
Which one?
String deduction equals 45, shouldn't that be a number instead of string?
Yeah, right. Okay. Right, you are correct. That's number. Okay. Now, anything else? Yes.
In the prompt, the info name is not, no.
Sorry, say again.
No, because, yeah, never mind.
Now,
The enter first name or EOF name, shouldn't that be ZZZ to end the file?
where?
On the output.
Yeah,
Where's the output?
shouldn't it be ZZZ, not EOF name?
They don't know what your name is.
No, it's okay. That is a constant here. Right? That's constant here. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Actually, that will copy ZZZ and put it here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if this would be it, but are you supposed to put like pluses on either side of EOF name, or does it not really matter because it's just the pseudocode?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now, you have to understand the process here. You want to do it again and again and again and again with multiple employees, right? So if you want to do it again and again and again with multiple employees, what you have to do? You have to work with the loop, not the selection, right? The selection is only one to do it one time, right? So see, if you hear, if name is not equal to end of name, actually you just do it for one employee. Make sense? Okay, that's the difference between the selection and the loop.
Say while name not equal.
Yeah. So if you want to do it again and again, you see, if you look again in the mainline logic here. If you look again in the mainline logic here, you see, you have to use the while loop here, right? After you got the prime input, you check the condition, and if you want to do it again for many employees, you have to use the while loop here, not the selection if here, right? Not the if here. Make sense? Okay. Okay. So that's why for this problem here, you have to change it, right? You have to change the program here. You have to change. What is it? How we change it?
Change X to Y.
Yeah, that's all, right? Instead of if here, you have to change it to the Y here. Right? You have to change it to the Y. Sorry. You have to change it to Y. And of course, you have see in the pseudocode, if you have a Y later on, you also have the NY. Right? And now see, for everyone, you got the name, right? The name is the one who control the condition of the loop, right? Now when you got the name already, have enter hour here, right? And the red here, and from the hour and red, you figure it out what the rod here, and from the rod, you figure out what the net here. Now, after we figure out the net, it can be positive or it can be negative here. You have to check. You have to check if positive. It's a positive. Net pay for the one is not. If not, your deduction is not covered here. So is that good? What wrong? Yeah.
It's while net is equal to 0 instead of F.
Yeah, right. So now you have to check the condition. If, right, I tell you already, if here, so basically you have to use the if here, not Y, right? You have to change the if here. And of course, if you have the if, and you have to add if here, and later on, you have the NY here. Make sense? So again, this is follow exactly the same with the logic of the mainline logic here. Make sense? Clear or not? Clear or not?
What was that last part you were saying?
So we see, that is a housekeeping or prime input, right? That is the one who controls the condition, how to terminate the loop, right? So basically you have to change it to Y here, right? Now, when you figure out what is the net income, right? You have two conditions. If greater than 0, you pay it here, net, right? If not, you change it to 0 here, right? I mentioned if, right? That's why you have to check the condition. If here, not Y. You just need to check it one time a week, right? You need to check it one time a week, greater than 0 or not, right? So now that's why I see if you have if, else, and you have and if here, not MY. And you see at the beginning, at the end here, you have Y and you have NY. That's all, right? Okay. Do you have any question, guys? I see 20 of you online here, but if you have any question, just let me know. Any question from you? Huh? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, this one we work in the modularization here. The number 3 here. Number 3 here. What is it? Pseudocode. Okay, so basically the purpose of this one exactly the same as the second one. The only difference is that you break it down into the modularization. You have the housekeeping, and you have the housekeeping, and you have main loop, and you have finish here. Okay, a lot of error with this one. What is it? What's the first one here? Yes.
The first while loop doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, right. Because you know housekeeping do it only one time outside the loop. Right? That's the prime input. Right? So basically you do not Y here. right? You do that. Why do you have to y here? You see, again, if you look in again means in the mainline logic here. You have no y here, right? Just do it one time only, right? So basically, you don't need a y here, right? You don't need a y here, right? Now, of course, when you have no y, you have no n y, right? Okay, so housekeeping, what is it? Housekeeping. Now, what is a variable name? Sorry, what is a variable who control to terminate the loop? What's the variable? Name, right? Name here, right? The name. Name, you see, y name not equal to the end of the name here, right? That is the one who control how to terminate the loop. That's why you need to get it from the housekeeping. So from the housekeeping, what's wrong with the housekeeping here?
There's no input.
Yeah, you need, that is the primary. That's the primary, right? You need to store the value you enter into the variable name, right? So basically you need the input here, input and you store the name here, store it in the name here, right? So that is housekeeping. Now, sorry, where? Okay, that is housekeeping. Housekeeping now, correct now, right? You move on. You move on. Housekeeping, correct. You go to the main loop here, right? The main loop, you have the y name not equal. You go to the main loop. What's the main loop? In the main loop, you have hour rate and deduction and everything correct. Everything correct here. Everything correct. And you see, enter the name of the next employee here. What is it?
Doesn't it need to declare gross yet? Top?
Yes, right. The gross here. Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, you have to declare the gross answer, right? Yeah. So basically, you see, you figure out everything and it will work exactly the same. You see, and now inside the body loop, you need to action to get the new name, right? As a y is the indefinite loop. Okay. So again, right. So back to the main program here. When we done everything with the main body here, you go to the finish again. Finish one time only, right? Finish never put in the while loop here. So basically, you also have to delete the while loop for this one and this one. Okay, that's all. That is very simple with the debugging. Okay, so again for this one to understand the process, you have see if you look on in the number 3 here, right? You see you have structure logic here. You have structure logic here, right? You have structure logic here. You have the prime input before the loop, you check the correlation of the loop, and later on inside the body of the loop, you have the action to get. You have the action to change the value of the one who controls the loop, otherwise in the loop. So basically, if you look on this program, what's wrong with this one? What's wrong with this program here?
The housekeeping is inside the loop.
Yeah, right. So if you work with structure, you have to bring it out. If you work with structure program here, you have to bring it out, right? And now, sorry, you have to bring both of them. You have to bring it out. Now, after you have the before and outside the loop, you have to check the correlation if equal to 0 or not, right? If not, right? So think about you enter here 100 mile, right? Check the correlation 100 not equal 0, right? How many gallon you find here? Right? So we find it down. You can find it down. You can find out gallon and you find out what's the mile per millage here. Sorry, millage per gallon here. What else? Yes.
The output, the miles per gallon.
Yeah. Okay. You need to do the repetition. You need to do the repetition, and actually, you just do exactly from the input you put it here. Yeah, that's all. That's all. That's very simple. So I think that's all for the pseudocode. Now let's see for the Python. Okay, so we see this program is that it expect that you understand the process of the pseudocode, right? And how you convert it into the Python here. So I think that's also very simple, right? So the only thing is that here you get the input and convert the correct data from the test right here. Now see, if you this program here, when you run it, what wrong is this program? What will you? If I run it here, what wrong is this program? What wrong is this program? What do you think? If I click run now, what wrong?
There's no input for test score.
Yeah, you got the syntax error, right? You got the syntax error because you see the first step here, check test score greater than 90 or not. But where? I do not see any value to the test score, right? So see, you got the error here. Test score here. Test score is not defined, right? So in order to do that, you need to get that score from user. You use the input function, right? And you got it, and he can enter whatever it is, 50 or 70 or whatever it is, right? Okay. So I think it's very simple with this one. I think you need to get the test score and you need to get the class ranking, right? And write statement to convert string representation to the score. Let's go on. Oh, so basically that is the two of them here. You can combine them together, right? You just get the input and you convert it into the integer. That's all, right? So for this one, they break it down into steps, but of course you can combine them. You can use with the function. You can use the int. Sorry. You can use the int function before the input function. Right? And after that, you got what is that caution. Oh no, you cannot add it. Sorry, you have to do it separately because they use a separate variable name. So this one you got it from input function, and later on you have to convert it into the integer function here. Make sense? Make sense? Okay, that's all. That's all for this one. Okay, so this one they try to work as kind of modularization. Now you have the housekeeping, you have the body, and you have the end of job here. Okay, so for this one also, if you run, you have the syntax error because you need to get input for year, right? You need to get input for month, and you need to get input for day. That's all. I think that's all. That's all. Yeah. That's all. You need to get the 3 input from the answer. And the rest of the coding you will do it for you. You do not do anything, right? So. So any other question from you? If you need any help with the assignment or anything with the class, let me know. I think it's quite simple with the homework of this week. Anyway, if you need any help from me, just let me know. Any question from you?
You can ignore my last two emails. This is John McGoy.
Sorry, say again.
You can ignore my last two emails. He explained everything, so I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, you want me to ignore your question in the email?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other question from you? From you guys? So Malcolm, can you run it? Can you share the screen? Let me see what's wrong with the program here. I'm not able to run the program. Malcolm, are you here?
Yeah, can I show you after class?
Okay, so can you share the screen? Or you want to do it after the class? Okay. John, are you here? Jalen, are you here?
Yeah,
Jalen, are you here?
yeah.
Okay. Content, are you here? Content. Eric?
Here.
Joe? Devin, are you here? Lindsay, are you here? Michael, are you here? Matt, are you here? Mallory, are you here? Mallory. Bill, are you here? Hunter here. Zarit, are you here? Zarit. Max, John, are you here? Paul, are you here?
Here.
Daniel, are you here? Daniel. Parker, are you here? Carl, are you here? Snyder, Carl, are you here? Alex, are you here?
Here.
You here? Tucker,
Here.
here. Malcolm here already. Okay, so if you do not have any question, I can answer class now. But if you have any question, you can study after the class. You can raise it.
Thank you.
Okay.